name is Agbedima.
My name is Olivier Kamanzi.
This is Chateau.
My name is Eme Adibe.
And you're listening to Progressive Mind.
Progressive Mind.
Progressive Minds with your host, Alinko, on WGHC 98.3.
It's every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. on WGHC 98.3 FM.
This is Senna, host of Progressive Minds. You can also call me Alinko. Join me every Tuesday between 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. We'll be coming your way with topical issues that pertain to our community, issues that relate to you and I. Join the #1 community building show in the entire world as we seek to uplift our community. If you're outside the range, just download the TuneIn app on Google Play Store and search for WGHC. If you're an Apple user, just go to your App Store and download WGHC app. You can also ring 563-999-3221 to listen to us live. Search for Progressive Minds on Facebook, like the page, and turn on your notification. You can also catch us on YouTube by searching for Progressive Minds. Progressive Minds, to whom much is given, much is required.
Thy rod and staff, they are with me, they surely comfort me.
Hello, welcome people. Welcome to the Progressive Minds and on the WGHC 98.3 FM radio station, your #1 African radio station here in Chicago. We apologize in the slight start of the show. We're 10 minutes late. We sincerely apologize for that. Tonight, I will be your host. Alinko is the name, and I will be talking. We are talking business promotion. This is the Business Promotion Forum, where we promote our local businesses and people who are doing embarking on projects that concerns people. So it's not necessarily just business, but initiatives and projects and community work that uplifts our community is what we are interested in on the Business Promotion Forum. Right now, we have Mike on the online to be given. He's going to give us the weather, sports, and fitness updates. It's the 9th of October, and as I said, 10 minutes past 7 p.m. Central Time here in Chicago. We would go to Captain Mike in a second. Just bear with us while we try to link up with Captain Mike. Hello, Captain Mike. Can you hear us? Captain Mike, can you hear us?
Brother Linko, gotcha.
Please go ahead with the health, fitness, and sports update. We sincerely apologize in keeping you on hold for some time.
Oh, no worries. I just really like the music you usually play for me. I'm missing that out. Well, guys, we got maybe one more warm-up next week, but, yeah, the rest of this week is going to be really cool. The rest of the night, we're going to have low in the 70s, so it's going to be a pretty decent night. Showers and rain start later. Tomorrow's going to be rain throughout the day, cloudy, high in the 70s, low in the 60s. Thursday, much cooler, high around 50, low in the 40s. Friday's going to be our coldest day of the season. Down to low in the 40s and a high in the mid-40s. So get those coats out again. Saturday and Sunday going to be high in the 50s, low in the 40s. Clearing Saturday, mostly cloudy Sundays, and rain possible late Saturday into Sunday. So, yeah, it's fall again. Speaking of which, got to watch out for those fall allergies. For those of you who do have allergies, go to the Regional Allergy Tracker on weather.com to make sure you're going to be protected. In the Midwest, we have to watch out for ragweed, which is called the mother of all allergens. It's a yellow plant that blooms, and it causes symptoms well into the fall. 75% of all people who suffer from allergies are affected by ragweed. And also, we have to worry about nettleweed. It's typically more moderate in the allergies, not as prevalent as the ragweed, but still, it's there. So, guys, make sure you do the allergy tracker on weather.com to make sure you're going to be healthy for the fall and into the winter. And we're going to go back to you, Brother Linko.
Hey, Captain, thank you so much for always coming up with the most updated in health, fitness, and sports. We sincerely appreciate your input and contribution each week that you get on the show. Last week, I told you that the first Ghanaian ever to fly the biggest airplane, the Airbus 380, successfully landed in Ghana. So I guess it might be time for you to reach out to him. Who knows? He might connect you to the next big plane out there.
Well, yeah. You know, we have a group of black pilots on Facebook, a kind of a secret group, and a lot of people have been connecting, and I know someone who knows him, so we'll be in contact, definitely. We're going to bring him into the fold, so we're all going to be chatting about the planes we fly.
Hey, when you land that job, do not forget who told you about it the first time.
Definitely.
All right, Captain Mike, thank you so much. We will talk to you next week.
And look forward to hearing the rest of the show.
Absolutely. That was Captain Mike, folks. We would go straight into the discussion this evening. Please bear with us. As I stated, we just had to have a little late start here. But, it's all good. We thank God for a beautiful day. We thank God for life. It's been bright and sunny the whole day. Just, of course, had a little downpour. I think it was 15 minutes or 20 minutes of downpour. I think it's good because the weather was very, very hot and humid. So God knows how to balance our temperature. He's a wonderful God. He gets us. He gets us, and He knows how to work with us. But to this evening, we're talking to this fine gentlemen and ladies here. Hopefully, we will get Omar Tello here in the studios as well. As I said earlier, it is the Business Promotion Forum. We have now the phone lines will be opened. Please bear with us. 45 minutes, almost like 8 p.m. would open the phone line. So you all can, ask questions and share your ideas and contribute to this discussion. As you are aware, this is where we build our community. So feel free to share your opinion and your ideas. They are always welcome. Mind you, if you just join us on Facebook, please share the feed so your friends and our friends can benefit and participate in this very important conversation. Mind you, we are promoting their businesses and their agenda. Who knows, it might be your business the next time that we are promoting. So please help promote their business by sharing the feed. And if you're now on Facebook, you can dial 98.3 FM. If you live on the northwest side of Chicago, we are predominantly very clear on the dial. However, folks that are outside the range, for Android users, download a tuning app and search for WGHC. iPhone users, we are available in the App Store. You can also get us on our website, which is wghcfm.org. Alternatively, you can ring 563-999-3221. That's a number you can call to listen to us live, not the one that you can call into the studio to ask a question or make a comment. Okay. That being said, to my immediate right is Anthony Amponsah. He is a freelance financial group investor. Freeport Financial Group investor and educator. The man has evolved from a financial advisor. Now he's an educator and he's an investor. He just doesn't want to tell you, oh, go and put money. You want to save some money? Okay, bring it to me. Let me buy some index fund for you, or let me invest it in Bitcoin for you. No, he wants to show you how you can grow your own money. And that's what we need in our community right now. Anthony Amponsah is my right. And then next to Anthony Amponsah, who is popularly known as Ask Anthony, is Kenny Kenesi. Kenny Kenesi is the co-founder and director of operations with MetroRide Technology LLC. In a few minutes, we'll get to know what MetroRide Technologies is. And then next to him is the beautiful lady who I call my own sister, and my friend, my alumni, a lot. She's Belinda Timpo. Belinda Timpo is popular in the Ghanaian community because of what she does. She is the owner of Belinda Timpo Weddings and Events. Did I get it right? Okay. When I come to you, you correct it. All right. Okay. She's the lead planner and event stylist. She's also the owner of Belinda Timpo Weddings. And then next to Belinda Timpo is Yolanda Piper. She is a union steward with the SEIU Local 1. She also wears a lot of hats, but we'll let her tell us the other hats that she wears. Let me start with you. No, ladies first, so I can do that. All right. I'll start with from my stream left. Yolanda, tell us why you are here today.
I'm here today to talk about SEIU Local 1. First of all, again, my name is Yolanda Piper, and I am a member of SU Local 1 as well as a union steward of all the security officers of downtown. I currently work at the Thompson Center. Okay. Today I had an interview, a press conference with WBBM, and we talked about issues like workers' rights. Okay, and what we do, we hold big companies accountable to the contract. We're for working people. We're for equality. And I fight for justice. Okay? And I use Sioux Local 1. Sometimes we can use them as political power, but we hold them accountable to the contract for working people. There is a scripture that says the workman is due his pay. So if you can hold us accountable to show up and honor the contract, then we can hold you accountable to do what's right for working people.
Okay. Yolanda, before I go to the next guest, if Yolanda is not working for Sioux, what else does she like to do?
When I'm not working for Sioux, I am working for Allied Universal Security at 19 years of service. I have an associate's degree in criminal justice. I graduated with honors, and I'm pursuing my bachelor's at Chicago State. Okay?
You're pursuing your bachelor's right now? Actually.
Right now.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay. And you said you already have a bachelor's in criminal justice?
No, I have an associate's degree. I graduated with honors.
Associate degree in criminal justice?
Yes.
Okay. And of course, you work with the state building here in downtown.
Yes, I work with the state building, and I protect people like, if I may say, Jesse White and other constituents.
Very important people.
Very important people.
Like me.
Like me.
Well,
like yes,
well, no, yes.
You saw me there.
I saw you there. I saw you there. No, I was just joking with but yeah, you protect very important people in the community.
Yes.
And so a very, very significant key people. But of course, just one person you mentioned. We'll leave the rest. But in that Timpo, tell us. First of all, what gave you I know you represent Belinda Timpo, so how did you get to Belinda Timpo Weddings? And if you can correct us with the name, if I'm not getting the name right, tell us exactly what the name is and how you got to this place.
Well, thank you for,
And don't worry, because the mics are being shared, you can pull it to yourself all the way. Okay, pull it all the way.
Alrighty, but first of all, I'd like to say a big thank you for granting each and every one of us a great opportunity to come here and get to talk about business in the African community and also our individual businesses. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Now, to answer your question about how did Belinda Timpo Weddings and Events evolve?
Right.
Well, it's a long story, and to cut it short, because I know we probably don't have enough time.
Right.
But to cut it short, wedding planning for me started in 2010 when I planned my own wedding, and I can relate to the challenges that comes with planning a wedding. And back then in 2010, I had to manage the task of planning weddings along with preparing for an exam. It's just a very stressful process. So realizing that challenge, one of our goals for Belinda Timpo Weddings and Events is to sort of alleviate the stress of wedding planning from our clients and, help them streamline the wedding planning process, and also to create a memorable and smooth wedding planning experience for our clients. So in a nutshell, that's how Belinda Timpo Weddings and Events evolved, for the main reason of alleviating stress for other wedding clients.
That's beautiful. Does that mean, did you plan your own wedding? Because I know you had a very beautiful wedding.
Yes, I did.
So you planned all that yourself?
Yeah, I mean, of course, planning a wedding does not come with just one individual.
Right.
You need a network of supporters who can actually help you through the process. So other people are fortunate to have people who can help them, others are not. So I guess that's where the services of a wedding planner comes in place. If you find yourself in a situation where you don't have enough network of friends or family who are highly organized to help you with your wedding planning, then I guess the alternative for you would be to seek professional services, and that's why we're here.
Good. Okay. Brilliant. Look, the way you articulated your company, I feel like hiring your services already.
Well, of course, you should hire us.
Mr. Kenny, you already married?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I was going to say you have a potential, wedding planner.
Unfortunately.
Well, guess what? It extends to friends and family, so it doesn't say just you.
Okay.
It's open to anyone you know.
So. He already got you.
So you're not completely off the hook, is my point.
Don't worry, having my daughter is 20 years, wait 5 years.
Okay. Kenny, tell us, first of all, who is this gentleman? I met you with Ask a couple of weeks ago. You sounded very smart and intelligent. I've never seen you in the community before, but the ideas and the things you were spilling out regarding business, I'm like, is this guy an African? Because we seldomly come across young Africans who dream and talk big and actually try to walk the talk. So who is Kenny in a nutshell? And then we can talk about the company you represent.
Actually, my name is Kenny Kennese. My name is Kenny Kennese. Actually, I'm born in Burundi. It's just a small country.
Yeah.
But with big problem.
Okay.
But I was very smart enough to get out from it.
Okay.
Now I am here. When I tell you my background, I went to Loyola. That's where I completed my bachelor's degree in psychology, business administration, and human resources. And I went to grad school to study public health. And at this point, I'm following my doctorate in epidemiology. So the reason I'm here, I'm just representing Metroid technology. It's cutting edge for Africans technology because most people think the African cannot create, but we are here, we create something very important like each and everyone can be proud of. The technology, the technology we created, it's a platform. We just provide technology. We are not a ride sharing like Uber or Lyft or another technology. We provide this technology to taxi companies because we do understand that there is a missing point in the taxi companies. Because of ride sharing, those guys don't have much power. They cannot connect point one to point B compared to others share riding. So what we did, we decided to create that platform so that the taxi companies can have that technology for free. Imagine.
Okay.
We spent 5 years creating that technology, but we decided to give it free so that each and one can have income.
Okay.
So it's going to help the taxi company and the drivers to create enough customer acquisition and increase income for their families.
All right. Okay. So it sounds good, but we would like to get a little more details because it's huge for you to, for everybody. I'm sure myself, I'm not able to divulge everything you've said right now. But I'm still thinking about, so it sounds very good, and I'm interested in knowing more, and I'm sure my the audience, folks that are listening, are interested as well. Anthony, we've been working together as a community person. You were very, very known, but I'm sure there are some new people who have just joined us and would like to know you. So in a nutshell, give us a brief description of who Anthony is, what you represent, and why you're here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Linko, for this opportunity. Thank you, WGHC, for giving us this platform to communicate and share ideas this evening. Really appreciate that, and to the rest of the panelists also. My background is in finance. Like you said, my name is Anthony Amponsah, and I've been in the finance space for well over a decade plus now. And I'm married with two wonderful little girls.
I'd like you to come up a little bit.
I'm married with two wonderful little girls.
Yes.
And by nature, I'm an entrepreneur. So as an investor, I work in different fields in terms of real estate, in terms of helping people, in terms of business. In fact, I'm also an investor in Metro Ride, which we'll get a chance to share a little bit more about as we go along this program. But this evening, I'm representing Trade Nation University, which is an online academy that we put together to help people basically grow their income and have people tap into the financial markets. Because after years of working with people in terms of financial planning and consulting, insurance, investment, annuities, and all the like, one thing that I've come across is that people have an income problem rather than an expense problem. And what you hear from a lot of the financial planners is how to cut back and how to keep shrinking and keep cutting and keep cutting. But what we've come to realize is that successful people define the lifestyle that they want, and then they look for vehicles and opportunities to create that type of income in order to achieve it. So really what the solution is helping people fix that income issue rather than rather than advising them to basically abandon their dreams and their goals and to shrink it. So what we want to do is empower people by by giving them a skill set, especially people in our community, level the playing field, because now it's a race of skills. Who's willing to learn? And that's what we're doing, and we're very excited about that.
Okay. How is that going? You said it's a race of still who is ready to learn. From your view of the community in which we reside in, and how has the response been to the school so far? What's the name of the school again?
Trade Nation University.
Trade Nation. Okay, yeah. Trade Nation. So you started this year?
Ending of last year, mainly this year.
Mainly this
December
year.
11th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how the trajectory is looking like?
Well, I would say
with regards to people coming on board.
In the Chicagoland area, since December when we launched, we have close to about 500 students. Within, I would say, the immediate African, Ghanaian, Nigerian community, the responses has been a little bit tougher. Mm-hmm. In the broader African American community, I think the response is getting a little bit better. But I think what it is we face the same challenges, right? Mm-hmm. Which is that people understanding in terms of financial matters is very low. Mm-hmm. And really getting them to actually, first of all, have a belief in themselves and a willingness to actually aspire to want to do more, learn more, is also a tough issue. Mm. But nonetheless, I think, like I said, after years of helping people save and find ways to strategize and all those things, where we see the biggest need is to help people empower themselves to be able to grow their income. So I think it's a worthy cause. So despite the challenges, we're willing to continue to push on. And I think that we're in the information age, right? And the people are gradually waking up. So I think it's just a matter of just time. Keep pushing forward.
Okay. Before I come to Metro Ride, Yolanda, so you represent Sue Local 1. Okay.
Yes.
I know it's a challenge. It's one of WGAC challenges. We want a bigger studio. As you stated, they are new. We're also very new. We're only 2 years old, and the challenges is enormous. Mainly capital resources, and that's why we always want our listeners to understand that we depend on their donations. We are 501c3, so anybody that donates to us helps us improve on our equipment here, helps us to keep doing the great work that we're doing. I assume we're doing the good work, and then to also and then they can also write it off, for taxes. Okay. So it's wgacfm.org. If you're listening now, please visit our website and help us make a donation. So, what are some of what is the current? What's the project right now? What's the current project that you're working on, and what would you like people to know about that project, and how would you want them to help if you need help?
My current project that we're working on now is promoting Toni Preckwinkle to become mayor of the city of Chicago. Okay. I'm out on the streets petitioning on her behalf. I'm speaking to officers, I'm speaking to the general public, and I'm collecting 45 signatures per day. Okay. And we are for her because she used to be a school teacher, okay? And what led her into politics was one of her students, unfortunately, was murdered. So she became an alderman to bring forth change. And then from there, as we all know, she's on the Board of Commissioners of Cook County. So we are supporting her. Okay, so the Sioux Local 1 is supporting her. Yes. Okay. I also I felt or kind of had the impetus of the last time we spoke when you were with the Nigerian gentleman. Yes. I got the feeling that you were talking or working on wage increments. We were.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you can, give us a little enlightenment on that.
I'm also on the bargaining team, and I'm an MOP leader with SEIU, and I get an opportunity to sit in negotiations, and we were able to get a $2 increase. So we are now finally reaping the benefits of work. We're seeing the fruit of our labor. And I was a part of that through Sioux Local 1. Again, before I say anything else, I'm humbled by this experience, and I truly thank you for all of us here. It's a lot, like you said, I wear a lot of hats. I also preach the gospel. So
Yes. Maybe we'll give you 2 minutes to give us some nice word. Give us a word from God. If the Spirit comes on you, let me know, so we can give you the opportunity to do a little bit of preaching. But so you're able to get.
We
to.
were. I was giving him a little information. You're speaking of my good friend Ben.
Yes.
Okay, and I always touch base with him because, to tell you the truth about it, how I became a union steward. The union came, and all of us as officers, all I did was present our issues and our concerns to the union. And before I knew anything, all of my colleagues, they decided to put me up to be the union steward. Now, it was like pulling teeth at first, okay? Because I was like, oh, no, why me? But Ben, my friend, said to me, he said, you can do it. He said, you are the one. He said, you will get us what we need. You will get the job done.
Okay. What does a steward do? Who is a union steward?
What a union steward does is take the concerns and issues and needs of the workers to the union, like grievances, financial grievances, or whatever their concerns or whatever is problematic. Okay, they give them to me, and I give them to him. Okay. And he opens the door. That's how it's done. I cannot do anything on my own. And I always tell my colleagues that I could not be your union steward if it was not for you. If it was not for the people, we would not have a union. And unions make the difference for working people. Like myself and other people who work every day, people who are struggling, living from paycheck to paycheck. That's why we hold them accountable. And if needed, the union we will use political power to fight, okay? It's all legal, legitimate issues, that the way that we get things done. And I'm for justice. I'm for what's right. I'm pretty fair. And I listen to both sides, as a whole.
Right.
And then
you make your case.
I'll make my case.
Absolutely. Belinda, you said that Belinda Timpo weddings and events.
Correct.
Okay. Came about as a result of you wanting to alleviate the burden of people and the stress that people go through when they want to, get married and actually, Okay. So now that you've got into it, do you see yourself achieving that goal? Do you see that gradually you're getting people, who are getting the help that they would have, the help that you would want to give them? Do you see people? Basically, what I'm trying to say, how is the feedback from what services that you've been giving people so far?
Okay, so to answer your question, one of the challenges that come with actually trying to help other people is that, first of all, you have to explain to them a concept which is very abstract. Okay, I feel, and I may be wrong, this is my personal opinion, but I feel that our community, maybe African community, again, I may be wrong, we don't fully grasp the concept of who a wedding planner is. Okay, so it's much easier to sell your services to someone who is not within the African community than an African. So one of the challenges is to try to kind of help them understand what exactly wedding planning is and why they even need your services. And the way that we're looking to bridge that gap right now is by getting engaged in style photo shoots, so that way people can actually see what we can offer. People can get to see our style, so that way they can sort of relate to it, and hopefully that would make some sense. And also another way that we're looking at things is to collaborate with other business vendors in the wedding industry, so that way we can get to match industry partners with people that we consider a right fit, not just in terms of their style, but also in terms of their budget. So I feel that with these two goals in mind and these two agendas in mind, that we can sort of get to the point where we can sell our services and get to help people with the wedding planning process. Okay,
so if somebody is going to, of course, get embarking on this journey, trying to organize a wedding or plan a wedding, and usually people like to do it themselves. Exactly. When I get a venue, and I get a few people to cook food for me and all that, I'll be fine. So why should someone, and I'm sure that's the problem you're getting within the African community, right? You know, I can do it myself. Why should I hire, Belinda's Timpo's, someone to come and do it for me? What's the difference between you doing it yourself, getting, all that, versus getting a professional like you to take charge of this task?
Okay.
What's the difference?
Again, it comes to really understanding what the value of a wedding planner is, and I totally understand where you're coming from because I've been there before. I planned my own wedding, and I didn't feel like paying a wedding planner to execute the wedding planning services. But then, I guess the experiences that I've had actually opened my eyes on, okay, wow, this is really something that is very important. So, again, seeking wedding planning services it's convenient for you as a bride or a groom, and so it's something that I won't underestimate because the value and the benefits that it brings
outweighs so yes, the value is obviously sometimes it's unquantifiable, okay, but it's when you look at the stress that you may get off your shoulders by placing, this lifetime event into someone who knows what you're doing, so they can fine-tune everything to your best, to your standard. To your optimum expectation. I think that it's worth trying. Because
exactly, and it's a partnership as well. It's not just the wedding planner making decisions for you. It's a collaboration of, okay, this is what I'm looking to achieve. This is how I want my event or wedding to look like, and then it's more of a partnership. And then the wedding planner, being your coach and guiding you in the right direction of how the entire wedding should look and how it should be executed. More importantly, in an organized fashion.
Oh, okay. So you would say. Okay. Oh, I like the part where you say it's a partnership. It's a partnership. So you don't have to do it by yourself, or the wedding. Whoever's going to do the wedding should not leave it in the hands of the planner. You say, hey, you got this? Okay, I'm leaving it to you. But you obviously have to stay in touch and make sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed. So at the end of the day, you can have a beautiful wedding.
Exactly.
Okay.
Some people choose to do that, leave all the planning completely in the hands of the planner. But it's best if you engage in this partnership. I believe that's how you actually enjoy the process. You're not going through the stress, but then you're knowing that, okay, you're also part of planning your own wedding. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you. It's 40 minutes past 7 p.m. here at the studios of WGHC 98.3 FM. Your voice, your music, your station. We're still on the Progressive Mind Show. It's just past 41. It's just past 40, so it's 41 minutes now. We will take one short or maybe two short musical break, and then when we come back, we would continue the discussion with this wonderful people here. Stay tuned. We shall be right back. Take one short or maybe two short musical break, and then when we come back, we would continue the discussion with this wonderful people here. Stay tuned. We shall be right back.
Heart of a champion, It's my time, it's my place, it's my destiny. No one can take away what was meant for me. My granny said, walk for you, can't be unreal. No man never see break back and feel, the best is yet to come. If I believe I can, I will. No holding back, no giving in. 'Cause I know I was right. I was
we're back on the WGHC. We're back here in the studios of WGHC 98.3 FM. Your voice, your music, your station. We sincerely apologize in the technical. I was just informed that there's feedback in the music that we're playing. We're getting it's kind of like having two music play at the same time, and it's something that it's on my part. And look, I'm hosting today, and I'm producing as well. I'm not too vexed with the engineering thing, so please bear with me. I have to do better with this engineering technical stuff. So please pardon me this evening. Okay, so we'll go back to our panel. I think we can't do a lot of music today. Please bear with us. Hopefully next week we'll try and get it fixed so we can, we can jam it all evening. Yeah. Okay, but I think what is more important is that we be able to get to this gentleman and get to what the gentlemen and ladies, so that they can inform us and enlighten us about what they're doing, and so we can also participate in their business. So, Kenny, you spoke about your project, of course, and I love the idea. You said that I'm trying to grasp it properly. Can you tell us again what brought you to this Metro Ride idea? Now, I am thinking that there's already Uber, right? There is Lyft, and there is Via, and I think there's a new
Cab. Yeah, that's
okay.
Cab. Yeah.
All right. So with this big giants, right, in the industry already, didn't you give you any scare? And how did you come up with this optimism, to even dare?
Before I go into it, let me tell you the story where Metroid comes from. Metroid was just found by a friend of mine. His name is Alaza Mesha. He's from Ethiopia.
Okay.
And we have been friends for so long. When I was doing my undergrad at Loyola, that's how I met him. And we started talking about how we can change the way taxi companies deliver the services. Mm-hmm. They are professionals. You are a professional. Everyone here, we are professionals. If someone come and just take out your professional, it's so, it doesn't sound very good to you. Mm-hmm. And you lose your families. You are losing your family. You are losing your house. And the medallion is going down. So we decided to create a platform where the taxi companies can learn, so that they can just share the data the same way Uber is doing.
Okay, they can share the data.
Yeah.
Of
that's mean
of clients.
That's mean they can share the same way Uber call from one point to another point.
Okay.
That's mean the Metroid can help the taxi companies to increase the customer acquisition.
Okay.
So that means they can call one end to end. Mm-hmm. Usually, most of the apps which have been created in the taxi industry, it's just individuals. Okay. It's not the platform where each and one can share that benefit of customization. Mm-hmm. So what we did, we created that application where the taxi company nationwide can use it. That's mean if you download Metroid here, you can use in Washington, D.C. You can use in Seattle. You can use in Texas. Everywhere you go, if we have a partners, you use it. So that way, the taxi drivers will keep their job. Also, they increase income. So we could have that kind of intelligence so that we can make sure the taxi company can have a competitive advantage in different states the same way Uber is doing.
Tony, can you help us with that a little bit more? So he mentioned taxi drivers sharing data, and if you have the app, if you have the Metro app, right, you can operate in different cities or different states. Is this just like Uber then? How different is it from the ride-sharing companies you already know?
I mean, as an investor, what I would say is that when you look at the nuts and bolts. Yes, you would say in a way it's similar to Uber or Lyft or cab or whatever other, which at the end of the day is to move people from point A to point B.
Right.
But the key differences are the technology behind how the platforms operate. And what Kenny is articulating is that we have solved the challenges that the taxi cabs were facing. And we have also looked at the challenges that even the Uber and the Lyft model right now is also facing. And then we've solved both of those issues, right? And the other great thing that we've also added to this platform is that this platform was already built from the beginning with Africa in mind. So there is some ingenuity that was built into it to make it easily adaptable in that market, which is where I believe where we will start to create our competitive edge. We're starting here, but we're not ending here. And obviously we can't divulge all the technological secrets, but there are things and tools and ways in which we've developed our platform to ensure that the taxi driver is much more profitable, designed for local markets. So, to give you a point, in some communities, it's not just first come, first serve should be the order in terms of how you're rotating drivers and people, or it's not who's the closest to that particular. In some communities, it's so dispersed that you needed to create zones so that the taxi cab driver knows where to be, at certain times. So it also allows them to also know where to kind of stage to find the maximum available customers.
Does it mean this app is more valuable or beneficial to taxi drivers, primarily African taxi drivers?
Any driver. The application extends outside of just moving people. Right? You begin to move goods also with the same platform. And basically what Kenny was expressing is that the platform is there, and what most people don't understand is it's not just the outward technology of moving people. There's a huge value in the behind the scenes part of it, which is the data that Kenny alluded to, and that also will eventually add more value to our partners.
How long? Okay, go ahead.
Another things which we have to understand about Metroid, it's the difference between Metroid and others platform. We provide the platform. We are a technology provider. We were not operating as a taxi companies or anything. We just provide the technology so that it's a lobbyist technology where we can just combine all companies and they operate the same way other companies are operating. But we take out the hands on it as operator, but we just give that platform.
Okay. How long has this project been going on?
Actually, it has been in development for 5 years because we are self-made. We're Africans, all of us. We don't have all our engineers. The chief engineer is Maisha Alaza. He's the one who tried to make it, and then us, we bring another skills which is needed to continue for development. And we did it in 5 years, but we went on the market. I did it myself, the pilot project here in Chicago in 2017, and then now we shifted to Washington, D.C. to look the license so that we can operate as a DDC. So DDC, it's a license which it's a digital dispatcher system. Where we already finished like 2 demo. We remain for 1 so that we can get a license and start operating.
Wow. What's the what stage have you got into now? Where is that? I know you went to Washington, and tell us about that process, where you've got into now, and how things are looking. How can we start building, clientele confidence in Metro Ride?
Actually, we were in the final stage of getting the license. Only we were just building 2 things: credit processing and a map, so that when you are just focusing, when you are requesting, you can see both side drivers. So that's the last stage where we are, which we are going to be there maybe is November 17, and then we hope that everything will be under control and they come up with another projection where we can go from there.
From there. So all we are waiting for now is the licensure from Washington. Okay, and you'll be going on the 7th of November for maybe a presentation. Are you going to do a presentation? Okay. All right. Hey, we're keeping our fingers crossed for you. We know that there's a big project coming from an African within the African community, and of course is going to build our community, and society is going to benefit from it. And so, Yolanda. Okay, so you are the union person. People come to you, and then you take your grievances and make sure. What makes your work more stressful? Is it fighting for the cause of people, or not getting what you want for your people?
I would say it would be a little bit of both. It can be sometimes overwhelming when you have like more than one officer bringing you their concerns or issues, and going to school, working full-time job, it can become stressful. But it's also rewarding and durable, because when you meet the needs of the people and you see that they are happy with all you put into it, like when you begin to reap your rewards for all the hard work, like for example the victory that we won with the wage increase, okay, everyone is happy to see some results, and so that makes it rewarding. Nothing in life comes easy, so there's a saying that if you don't take a stand for something, you will fall for anything. So yes, it's not going to be easy, but it is definitely durable.
What is the current state of union labor in the state of Illinois?
We're large. We are beyond Illinois. We're in Missouri. We are in Missouri, Illinois, Detroit, Michigan. Sioux Local 1 is big. Okay?
No, what I'm trying to say, is good. What I'm trying to say too is that we know unions are not necessarily welcome in a lot of states. Not all states, have those policies, business policies that augur well, right, for unions.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, for the state of Illinois, how is the political climate like with regards to union? Are they friendly to it, or is there a lot of pushback,
There's one politician, if I may say his name.
No, because he's not here and he doesn't have a representative to maybe speak on his behalf. So we're not mentioning their name, but you can talk about.
Okay. Yeah. There's one politician that is a big hater of unions.
Okay.
Okay. One.
No name.
Now, I'm not going to give a name.
Okay.
I'm saying there's one politician.
Okay, just one. Okay.
There's just one politician that I know.
Okay.
That is a hater of unions.
Okay.
That held up a lot of employees' money that work for the state, security officers. For one, money was tied up, worked 4 years without a raise.
Right.
One politician who I will not say, but the radio land media know the person that I'm speaking
you're talking about.
He needs no name.
He needs no name.
Because his actions show what he does.
Okay. But you think that your union have thrived, even though there's a lot of pushback from that one politician?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Okay. What help would you need from the community or from the political spectrum when it comes to unions, your needs and your thriving? Is there any need that you feel that you can get?
Yes. I need people to go out there and vote, exercise their right to vote.
For the right politicians?
For the right politicians.
Okay. Okay. So look for politicians that are in favor of
look for politicians that are in favor of labor unions.
Okay.
Look for politicians that are for working people.
Working people.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. It's 2 minutes to the top of the hour. I would say specifically. Oh, actually, it's a minute to 8 p.m. here. We are still on the Progressive Minds at WGHC 98.3 FM. Your voice, your music, your station. please take a minute of your time, visit our website, wghcfm.org, and make your monthly contribution to us. We learned last week that there are about 30,000 Ghanaians alone, 30,000 here in the city of Chicago. This station was created and founded by a Ghanaian. Of course, it represents the entire African community, the Afro community. But if let's say our own people, right, where we stem from, decide that they'll give us $1 a month, we would not have a problem. We'll probably not be in this building. We'll probably buy our own building and serve the community better. So please try as much as possible to get on our website and do your best. It's wghcfm.org. It's a 501c3 community radio station. We thrive on your donations, and when you donate to us, you can always write them off. Well, it's 8 p.m. now, and we want to recognize our followers who have joined us on Facebook. Najali Russell just joined us. Ina Turner says, we know who that person is. Last name begins with... Okay, Ines, thank you for giving us a clue. And then okay, Dominic Mira says, give us the name. Okay, so people are calling for the name, so I'll let you give it to us. But let me go through these names first. And then Lavina Akoa is giving us a thumbs up. D Page Amponsah is laughing. And then Akua Dada is also here. Jeanette Penny. Hello, Jeanette. Hello. I will be speaking with you sometime this week. Okay. That's another lovely lady, Jeanette Penny Lai. And then Tamela Binion says she makes sure everyone is on board. Belinda, of course. Omar Telly Diallo was supposed to have joined us on this program last minute. He came in, but for some reason he had a business call, so he had to leave. Omar, thanks for joining us. Definitely we'll continue or have conversation. But call us. Omar, you can call us. I'm going to open the phone lines now before I continue reading the acknowledging our Facebook followers. The phone lines is 773-942-7167. Again, the phone line to the studio if you want to call in and share your contribution or ask a question is 773-942-7167. I think we have a first call on the line. Hello, caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Can you please tell us your name and where you're calling from?
My name's Miranda Atkinson, and I'm a student. I'm calling from Chicago, Illinois.
I'm sorry. Please go ahead with your question.
Oh, my question is, and I got a comment, is for Mr. Kenny. I like the idea about the Uber, but my only concern with the taxi cab company is it going to be safer? Have you all come up with a way that we're going to know that that's our taxi cab driver? Is it going to be safer for women to actually, well, safer for the driver and the passenger?
Hey, caller, can you please lower when you call in, please? Make sure you turn on the device on which you're listening to us on, so we're not getting feedback. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
It is on. Okay.
Thank you very much for asking a question. The way I can ask you, the reason why it's going to be safer. One question is, the first thing you have to understand, the taxi company, the taxi drivers are already people who have been screened by the state. They have they have a chauffeur license. They have an entire background. What we increase is just to bring that kind of rating That's meaning quality services because they didn't have at this point they didn't have enough quality services. In addition to that, when you are in a taxi, by using our application, you can send to anyone you know your direction.
Yeah.
That's mean anyone can follow where you are. So I think it's 100% safer. Another thing which we are going to include in the next development, we have just to add another point which I don't want to put on radio,
air.
but there is another secret which is gonna make not 100, at least 75% for women to be safer while they're riding by using our application.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Next call up. Can you please tell us your name and where you're calling from? Looks like. Hello? Hello, caller?
Yes.
Yes, can you please tell us your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Sean Parker, and I'm calling from the south side of Chicago.
Okay, Sean, please go ahead with your question or your comment.
I had a question for Mr. Anthony.
Okay.
What does it take to be a married man with children and managing different businesses?
Wow.
Actually, an excellent question in terms of today's society. Right? Really, I think what it takes to be a married man and also to manage multiple businesses, number one, there has to be that trust and understanding between you and your spouse, and obviously constant communication to make sure that you guys are all on the same page in terms of everybody's schedule. It's not easy in today's society, but I believe it's just a matter of having a calendar and really live into that. And that's what my wife and I do. So we're constantly checking in with each other in terms of plans and itinerary. What are you doing this Saturday? What you got going on this day and that? And just being flexible also. As a businessman, one of the things that I learned is that the meeting doesn't start till you get there, right? So be flexible and just be willing to constantly juggle and use the technology to help you. Always plan ahead. And if you do that, I believe that you'll be able to prioritize and make sure that the important things are done first, and then all the other things will somehow find a way to get done.
Yes, Joshua, I did your question get answered correctly? I mean, to the satisfaction,
Yes,
sorry.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for ringing in. The number is 773-942-7167. 773-942-7167. You can ring in and share your opinion or ask a question. These people are here to help, answer them and, of course, introduce their businesses to you. We hope that you are sharing the feed on Facebook. So that, look, we want to promote our businesses. They say that other communities, the monies in their communities circulate about what? 7 times? At least. Somebody gave me the stats, and it was impressive. I mean, look, so the Chinese community, I heard.
It was all communities, Chinese community, the Jewish community. In fact, the only community that it doesn't seem to happen is in our community.
Right.
And one of the things that I always speak to that is that, what is sad is that I have yet to hear of the United Chinese Organization or the United, Jewish. You don't hear a lot of these unity groups, so to speak. There's more of these unity groups within our community. But yet, unfortunately, we're the least united out of all the different groups.
And we have the most purchasing power.
Yep. So it's just a matter of us understanding how actually money works. And, most people think of it as just cash or money. But actually, the root of it is currency, right? And I was actually teaching on this, is that currency, the Latin root underneath the reason why it's called currency is because it's current. It has to flow. It only has more value when it's allowed to flow. And that's what the banks do. You know, they can take literally $10,000, and through the process of letting it flow by giving out loans and people paying it back and then giving out more loans, all of a sudden you can take $10,000 and grow it, and it becomes more, right? So the pie doesn't have to be small where one person is just hoarding it. That's our mentality, is to hoard the pie. Rather, the idea is to understand that wealth is meant to be created. The pie can always become bigger, you know, and that is why, again, we're trying to change mindsets by educating people so that they understand these concepts rather than applying the old misinformation, which is
so Tony, what you're saying is that we are hurting ourselves by, okay, I have $1,000, put it in my savings account. I go to Fifth Third Bank, I go to Chase Bank, I go to Citi, okay, I go to all these fancy names, you know, and then I have 2,000 there, I have 10,000 there, I have this money there. It's sitting there, and each time we see it, it gives us confidence, gives us hope. Okay, I have some money just in case something happens. And there was this saying that you save, 6 months or 3 months of your income so that when you lose your job.
Emergency fund.
Okay, emergency fund. So imagine somebody saying 10,000 or 5,000, and it's sitting there in the hopes that, gosh, if something happens to me, I'm going to fall on this money. So for 2-3 years, if you don't lose your job, this money is just sitting there when you can actually gain something from it if you put it in investment.
Right, and that's actually the biggest thing that we're trying to help people understand, is that as we speak right now, there are $6 trillion sitting in checking and savings accounts, which makes absolutely no sense.
$6 trillion.
There's $6 trillion
in America?
In America, stuck in checking accounts and savings accounts. You know, in the case of checking accounts, really, you really at the end of the year earn zero, right? You don't. In fact, if you're not careful, if you get penalties and overdraft charges, you actually get a negative interest, right? And in the case of savings accounts, you're getting 0.01%, or a CD account 1.25%. Meanwhile, inflation is about 2.5%. You know, so what is happening is that people don't even understand the basic concept of what a bank is. You know, a bank is in the business of providing the services of buying and selling money. That is it. They're not there. It's just a storehouse to buy and sell money. Their product is the money. You know, and they buy it from you when you have money sitting in your checking account or your savings account or a CD account, and pay you a very modest interest, 1.25%, 0.01%.
Which is nothing.
Which is nothing, because you're not even keeping up with inflation. But then, what are they doing with that money? They're trading that money, and they are growing that money. And when you need money from them, when you need to buy money from them, what do? They charge you now interest. If you need a credit card, 10%, 15%, up to 30% in some places, right? And if you need a mortgage, 4%, 5%, 6%. You know, so it's not even fair the way the system is set up. In fact, I tell most people they don't really actually need a bank because they're truly unbankable. Because if the money is going in and out so fast, what's the point? You might as well just have a little safe at home and keep your money there. You're probably better off because you avoid the fees also. You know?
Wow, that's deep, ain't it? Did you Yolanda? You were listening attentively. What do you have to say to that?
I would say follow his advice.
Well, and not just follow the advice, but I think that we have to actually start, going out of our shelves and start making this initiative. Like I said, it's a cultural change that we have to embark on. So the change of the mindset, because we are very used to just hoarding our money or spending it. So now we have to literally make the effort of, okay, where can I invest my money? Because if you're getting an interest rate of about 1.2%, inflation, not even considering inflation, at the end of the year, after you've saved about $2,000 or $5,000 in your checking or savings, if you had put the money in stocks or the simplest index fund investments, right? At least you are guaranteed what is the lowest rate of returns minimum rate of returns when you buy stocks or bonds or these investments?
Well, I mean,
basic investments.
The stock market goes up and down, right? I think if you were to look at more of a longer trend, on average, accounting for the big dips, the stock market will average anywhere between 7, 8, upwards of maybe 10% in the long run,
right?
Because of the dips.
Right.
This year is actually very good in the markets. But that also comes with a warning that if you look at the growth that we've experienced in the past, let's say a year to a year and a half, we're due for a correction very, very soon. So if you're investing out there, you want to be a little bit careful because we're due for a correction very soon.
Okay.
So you get some attractive gains in the stock market, but most people don't know what to do. How do you even trade? How do you tap into that market? How do you tap into the foreign exchange market, which is actually the largest financial market out there?
The fear is that people would say, well, I have to get a financial advisor. Yeah, I'm going to have to pay him. So if I have $1,000 to invest, how much is he going to take from that $1,000, and then how much am I going to invest?
That in itself is the reason why those people are where they're at. Because let me clarify that. Let me clarify what I mean by that. What I mean by that is that we are professionals, but everybody obviously has their own skill sets. Just like Mr. Kenny here is good with technology. Belinda explained her skill sets in planning events, and Victoria is helping to lead organizations and groups. We all have our skill sets, so we need to focus in our strengths, major in the majors, right? So, for example, we will all agree that perhaps maybe our current president may not be the smartest person when it comes to money, right?
Okay.
But what does he have? He has a team of professionals around him that are helping him maximize the advantages that are in the tax code or that are in the sphere of financial management. So why should I spend a full day trying to put my plumbing together when I'm not a plumber? When I can pay somebody $100 to put that plumbing done, whereas I can then focus my talents and my energy on the areas that I'm good at.
Okay.
And that is the mentality that we need to help people switch.
I like that you use that key word, the mentality, or the phrase, the mentality that has to be switched. Okay, just like we pay you. Perfect example. Just like we pay for every other service and go to every other restaurant and stores to buy and spend money on, let's start spending on money on how we can get our money to grow, okay? Instead of, and even if you want to keep spending, that's fine. But let's spend money on the financial advisor as well. And some of them are not necessarily expensive. They're not expensive. Change.
Our academy is very, very affordable. And really, like I said, our goal is to teach people how to grow their money.
Okay.
Right.
We'll come back to Metro Right and then you. Belinda, how can people get to you, to, of course, get your services? How long have you been doing this wedding and events planning thing?
From a business perspective, we're very new. I think we're going to be a year next month. But then the act of wedding planning has been going on for a while, since 2010.
Okay.
Starting from my own wedding and then also planning the events and weddings of friends and family.
Right.
So from a business perspective, we're relatively new.
Okay. One thing I know about you is that you are very meticulous and detailed.
I know, and I gave you a hard time yesterday, right?
Even for man. Okay, so if you, I know you translate this into your work and to your profession. There are a couple of wedding and event planners out there. Why should Yolanda choose Belinda Timpo versus maybe Kenny, who is also doing a wedding planning events, wherever?
Okay, I think one of our strengths is that we approach wedding planning from a very personalized standpoint. We plan your wedding as though we were planning our own wedding. So that one thing that you're getting from us is that, we address wedding planning for you on a more personalized basis. And then also, we don't like to leave the little details to Hope. Hope is not our strategy here. We make sure that your wedding planning is executed, we go through a monthly process of making sure that all the tasks that you have to accomplish within, preferably
You in the
maybe a
room?
one-year
You
period,
gonna hear me on the radio?
execute that, we divide that on a monthly basis and make sure that, every little detail is addressed. So that way, on the day of your wedding, you're not feeling overwhelmed. I mean, the only reason why you feel overwhelmed is if you don't really have like a strong planning process, from the get-go. And I always say that you don't let hope be your strategy. You always want to make sure that from day one, everything is planned thoroughly. So that way, you have hopefully a stressless wedding or event.
Do you give payment plan options?
Well,
okay.
I guess that's one of the challenges, right? One thing that we do is that we try to make sure that whatever the case is, we try to make sure that the packages that we customize for our clients is actually the best fit for them.
Mhm.
And then also we try to align them with vendors that would be a good reflection of their taste as well as a good reflection for their budget. So we definitely are very budget conscious. Not everyone has the means to splurge on like elaborate
Right.
or big weddings. So definitely something that we take into consideration.
Okay. Not everybody's a splurger, like Tony.
Exactly, and quite frankly,
No, I'm just kidding.
Quite frankly, you don't have to break the bank to have an elegant or well organized wedding.
Oh, so there are ways you can be very.
We get creative.
You get creative.
We get creative.
Okay, we'll let you tell us some of the creativity that you put in there to cut down people's budget. But we have a call on the line. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Sarah Herbert. I'm a student.
All right, Sarah, can you please go ahead with your question or your contribution?
Sure. My question is for Yolanda. I believe that's her name.
Yeah, Yolanda. Yes.
Okay. Would you say it's like generational curses of like wanting to like have an extravagant wedding, but like we can't afford it, it's like black people or whatever. So like, a lot of times in black households you might hear, the grandparents say like, hey, we didn't get wedding planners because we couldn't afford them. So then it's like we grow up with these high expectations of having these big weddings, but we know we can't afford them because, for one, we were never taught how to save and things like that.
So I guess the question was, she's asking if it's a generational curse that black people like to spend, right? Actually, I don't want to misinterpret your question, so I'll have you ask again because she was complaining that she didn't actually hear the entirety of your question. So can you please restate your question again?
Sure. I basically asked, do she think it's a generational curse of basically of black women basically trying to do things we can't afford because we want to, live up to the high expectations of what we see on TV or what we see through other people?
For some reason, I'm missing a part of your question. I only hear the question about the generational curse. What was the beginning again? I apologize.
I'm saying, how, let's say, for instance, let's say, for instance, my grandmother might say, hey, I hear you want a wedding planner, but you can't afford a wedding planner. But back in my day, we didn't need wedding planners. We did it ourselves, But I do believe, if we were taught to save and, save for things that's important, like weddings, we can afford those things. I do believe that a lot of times at these weddings, we do need wedding planners. I have been to a lot of black weddings that was all over the place.
Correct. So, I mean, that's one of the challenges that we face is trying to sell something that appears abstract to wedding couples, and then also, it's great that we have inspirational boards and Pinterest and stuff like that. That's a great inspirational tool. But then what we also do is to try to help the client, try to make sure that they fully understand that what you see on Pinterest boards is not necessarily like reality.
Right.
You want to be very conscious of your budget and what you can afford.
Right.
You're getting into marriage, you don't want to get into marriage broke.
Exactly.
So the first one is being realistic. Great, you can see all the styles and visions on your Pinterest board, but let that be an inspirational board and be very realistic as to what can I afford. Like I previously said, you can have a beautiful wedding executed to perfection, and you don't have to break the bank for it. So a lot of it has to do with being realistic to yourself, and then being very real and do what you can afford, and don't be misled by what you see on inspirational boards such as Pinterest. It's just a guide.
Exactly.
Question.
And maybe another piece to Sarah's question is that we have not been taught the culture of saving the right way, and
Exactly.
which is what Anthony was alluding to. And so now that we, it's not too late, right, to learn to do these things.
No, it's not. It's not too late, and I've learned the concept of paying yourself first. You pay God, and then you pay yourself first, and then everybody else fall in line. Why? Because at the end of the day, when it comes to savings or investing, outside of the interest rate, obviously, that you're promised or that you plan to get, the biggest component is time, right? And you need to allow time to compound on your behalf, right? In fact, there's a concept called the rule of 72, and time compound interest is like the eighth wonder of the world, right? So you need to allow time to compound on your behalf as you're investing and saving for your future. So rather than paying all the bills and leaving yourself with nothing, rather what you should be doing is making sure that after, again, you pay God, you pay yourself, and then you pay everybody else. And whoever can't get paid at the end, they just can't get paid. Or unless you start to know where you need to start managing your resources a lot better.
Tony, briefly, Sarah, I hope your question was answered to your satisfaction.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for ringing us and contributing. Okay. If you say pay yourself, that's very technical. It can also be literal.
Yeah.
Okay. So
what I mean is
briefly, and then we can go to
what I mean in terms of pay yourself is that you as an individual has to look at yourself almost as a business, right? So your job as you incorporated is to what? Increase your income, invest and save and do all those things. And then all your expenses come, right? But most people obviously work and then you get a paycheck. The common practice that most people do is they just start paying bills because that's what we've been taught. But what happens is that you got one source of income and 20 bills going up. Before you know, you run out. And every month, by the time you realize you're 50, you're 60, and you hadn't had time to save, right?
So when you pay yourself, what should you use that pay for?
That paying yourself is where you've taken that paycheck and you've taken a portion. The rule of thumb is about 10% at least,
right,
of that income. After you've paid God, you take a portion
and what do you do with it?
Invest that.
That's what the point I was trying to get to. Thank you. Kenny, how would this app, that Metro Ride, benefit, or what should the African community expect from Metro Ride? How would it benefit them?
That's a very wonderful question. The best part of technology, we're going to give opportunity to African. We're going to give an opportunity to African to be the first investors in technology.
Okay.
So that it's opportunity to give them opportunity. Second, we're going to increase a job to African community. In addition to that, we're creating an organization which is going to help the youth to learn technology and to learn other things because when you look at us, the way you guys, all of us were saying, as African, we have typical issues. We're just discarded. We're not together. We don't work together. We don't trust each other. We don't love each other. When we say love each other, it's unconditional love. The love from God. When you see me as a brother. When I see her, I see her as a sister. No question.
No question. Doesn't matter which country of Africa you come from.
No. Yeah. So what we have to do, we have to bring that flavor together and helping each other. We have a different knowledge. My knowledge can help you. Your knowledge can help me. But if you keep yourself, that simple example, if you were keeping your knowledge somewhere, we could not be here.
Yeah.
That's the simple example can give it to anyone who is listening to us. You are doing the tremendous job to our community.
Thank you.
We need also to follow your step. So Metroid is doing the same thing we are doing.
Okay, I'm following your step.
It's just to bring opportunity to our community,
right?
So that they can invest. Because if someone else come to invest, it's
They'll
going
own
to close the door, and you're not going to have a chance to invest.
Right.
And then we have an investor here. When I met him and they talk about it, I said, yeah, I'm in. That's where he's just supporting Metroid. And what we requested to anyone, there is a room right now to invest so that we can grow our company and also to take this opportunity in different areas in the world so that as African organic technology to the nation.
This is beautiful. You know, many years ago, if anybody had told people about, Uber, take advantage of Uber, invest in it, maybe 2011, 2012, why would anybody think about Uber? Why should I put my money in it? But I think it's all the risk. It's about taking risk and understanding that this risk will pay off. We have a caller on the line. Please, let's try and get this caller. Hello, caller.
Hello? Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay, my name is Emma Brookins, and I am a student. And I sort of have two questions. I have one for the businessman, and for the wedding planner, for the wedding stylist, I should say.
Okay, you have one more question for the wedding planner, right?
For the wedding stylist, yeah.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, the wedding stylist is that, I had planned my own wedding before because I had asked someone to check out the catering for a certain number of people, and they came back with a less amount. So I took on that task of planning my own wedding. And believe it or not, it was really something hard to do because it's all about timing and whatnot. And if I had to do it again, what could you tell me to convince me that I should use your service?
I would say that if you're looking for someone who's going to plan your wedding as though it was their own, then Belinda Timpo Weddings and Events is definitely number one choice. But then I would encourage you that for anyone who has plans, to plan their own wedding, you want to start this process at a very early stage. The more time you give yourself to plan this, assuming you're trying to do this yourself, the more time you give yourself, the better it is for you, and the more likely that you're not going to feel overwhelmed when it's time for your wedding event. But for anyone who definitely, some people would love the wedding planning process, others don't. I plan my own wedding, so I can definitely relate to those who would like to plan their own weddings. It's great. But for others who cannot plan their own weddings, either seek the services, of a professional planner, or if you're fortunate enough to have friends or family who've gone through the same process and are highly organized, you can also consult them for assistance. So a wedding planner may not be for everyone, but to those who really need that extra help, you definitely want to make sure that you're consulting someone who would actually, help you with your wedding planning as though it was theirs.
And Belinda Timpo also provides, extra services which will not necessarily, cost you anything. She does French services too, so she might just give you an advice, not just give you a service.
You mean consultation?
Yes, something like that. Free consultation. That's what I was looking for.
Sure. I mean, our process actually starts with an initial complimentary consultation, and then that's where we get to know what your goals and vision are, and then also to get to kind of figure out what budget you have. So, I mean, you can definitely take advantage of the initial free consultation, and then if you feel that you need more assistance, then definitely feel free to give us a call, or you can actually get on our website at www.belindatimpoweddings.com.
Okay, we have another one more call on the line. After this call, we'll go. There are two questions on Facebook for Tony, and so please try and make it snappy for us because we're past 8:30 now, and we should be wrapping up in the next maybe 20 minutes. And there's a lot to do within this time. So, caller, tell us your name, where you're calling from, and please be snappy with your question if you don't mind.
Yes. My name is Eric. I'm a student at Kennedy King College. I had a question. One of the gentleman was talking about helping like create business, like investing in self. So my question is like, in what ways will you teach people how to have a successful business? Because there's people that have businesses, but they don't know.
Can you ask your question again, please, Eric? Or can you repeat the last part of your question again, please?
You said Eric.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, caller?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Can you please go ahead with your question?
Okay, first of all, good evening to all of you, to Belinda and to Sappho. This is Bridget from the church.
I apologize, Bridget. Looks like we lost Bridget's call. We're trying to take... I'm sorry. Being a technician and a host is not an easy joke. Caller, you still have you on the line?
Yes, this is Eric from Kennedy King College.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, like I was listening to when he was talking about investing in self and helping like people like have like their own business.
Today's the day.
Hello?
It's gonna be all right. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay, so I have two questions. The first question goes to Anthony. So let's say I have $1,000, $2,000. What would you advise me to do in terms of saving? What would you advise I invest my money in?
You have $1,000, $2,000. Well, obviously we need to discuss more to figure out what your objectives are for that money. Obviously, if you need it for something very short term, that would determine. But one of the things that I can say that we're helping people do is at our academy, we're literally helping people tap into the foreign exchange market. And there is one of the places that I know for a fact that you can take something as little as 1,000 or 2,000, and with the ability to learn a little bit of how to invest and how to trade, we're able to help you grow that money. You can obviously do certain things in terms of buying some shares in different opportunities. There is a controversial opportunity right now in the marijuana industry. There's a potential for full-blown legalization across the country. So there are great opportunities there, obviously, depending on how you feel about it, morally or ethically. But in terms of opportunity, that is one of the best opportunities currently right now with Walmart, Coca-Cola, and several big players positioning themselves for the future.
Tony, so thank you for the answer. But caller, did your question get answered to your satisfaction?
Yeah, it was hard for me to hear him though. It sounded like he was very far away, so I didn't really hear what she was saying.
Yeah, what I was saying was that with $1,000 to $2,000, the first thing I would first like to get clarity, obviously, if we're sitting together one-on-one, is exactly what the objective of that money is in terms of investing. If you need something short-term, that would determine the areas that we put that money, right? But I think all of us already know that the traditional bank is not going to give you much return, right? So parking $1,000 or $2,000 in your traditional savings account, CD accounts, is really not going to keep up with inflation nor really grow to the satisfactory. What I can recommend, sitting here as a representative at Trade Nation, university is that we're now helping people take that same $1,000 or the $2,000 or even $100, teaching them a skill set, giving them tools, and helping them tap into the foreign exchange market and being able to grow that money. At the same time, there are avenues in terms of buying certain shares that one can start to be able to learn to do that. And I gave you a few examples in terms of an emerging industry, which is what will soon be a full-blown legalization in the marijuana industry. You don't have to be, there are opportunities there in terms of companies that are positioning themselves, which right now you can get a lot of those on the ground floor. So great place to park money like that, 1,000, 2,000, park it there and leave it for the long haul.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And my second question goes to Belinda. Is it wise to, like, for example, someone is getting married, a lady is getting married. Is it wise for her to take out a loan from a bank, from a friend, for whoever, to fund her wedding? If she wants an elaborate wedding and she doesn't really have the money, do you think it's wise for her to, take a loan to fund her wedding so she can get that elaborate
Again, I think
wedding?
one of the challenges is that you see a lot of pictures and or photos on Instagram, Pinterest. There are a lot of inspirational boards out there, and one of the challenges is that some people are not necessarily very realistic on what they can afford. Definitely a big no from me to take a loan, for an event. That is something that I personally would not advise anyone to do. What I advise you to do is to get help or get creative. Get creative, and you can equally have a well-executed wedding or other event without overspending. You just have to get creative. So absolutely no about getting a loan. Be very realistic. Live within your means and get creative.
And the problem is, it's not everybody that is naturally creative, and that is why they need help with people who are creative like you.
Exactly.
Right.
Either that, or you tap into the resources of other family members, whatever it is, or friends. There's a lot of help out there. But then if you feel that you can't get that immediate help from your network of friends or family, then you may want to consider seeking a professional planner.
Okay. Yes. Just don't rely. Some family members might think they know it and might end up messing up your wedding. If they're not professional, yes, you can get advice. But for me, just like you pay for, like you said, if you need a plumber, you pay for the plumber. You don't try and, because, so pay for services that you're not good at. If you want quality, if you want perfection, the days where we do things small, mediocre, small. This one, let's try small, you'll be okay. No, I don't want to encourage that. If you can, you should do SWOT analysis on yourself. You know your weakness, you know your strength. Where you are good at, no problem. If you have weakness, look, get professional help. I hope your question was answered to your satisfaction.
Also, one of the benefits of having an efficient wedding planner is that they can also help you with your budget. We can an efficient wedding planner would help you identify the areas where most of your funds can go into, so that way you don't end up overspending or spending in an area where it isn't needed or necessary.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, caller. We would move on to the next topic.
Thank you.
You're welcome, caller. So we're getting feedback that there's an issue with the volume. I don't know if that was when Tony was talking or that was when Belinda was talking. Please let us know so that we can probably try and get our guests to reiterate their points, because these are very important information they're sharing. And so if you missed something, let us know who you missed it from. Is it my voice, Tony's, or any of our guests? Let us know so we can properly address that. Okay. Thank you so much for your contribution so far, folks who have joined us on Facebook that are contributing. And I want to ask this question because this person posed this question and we haven't been able to. That's a question for you, Anthony. Okay. Yeah. I think that was Tony. That was when we couldn't hear it. So maybe when I ask this question, you can tie it into your last comment. That was regarding how you can put $1,000 into investment and whatnot. Okay. She says, for investing in the stock market, can you please explain levels of risk and what one can do if they have children? That's one question. The other question is they wanted you to explain what she says. Can you explain what Roth IRA is? And then someone also wants to know what's the difference between traditionals and tax benefits. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, can you capsulate all this?
Okay.
You can?
I'll do my best.
I trust you. Okay.
In the short possible manner. In terms of investing, let's address the last question first.
Right.
In terms of savings for children, there are different things that you can do. In fact, one of the products that we've been recommending for children is what we called $1 Million Babies. These are high interest yielding accounts that are then also attached to life insurance products. So not only do they get protection from that side, but it's a safe and effective avenue for you to grow and save money for children, and at the same time understanding that money grown in a life insurance policy also avoids the taxes that is out there. It's actually the biggest tax break in the whole tax code, and most people don't understand. But there are products, Index Universal Life, different products that are very supercharged, where you can get very great growth, but at the same time, great protection.
And what are the risk levels?
Risk is really, as an investor, is based on individual. These products that I'm describing are more of contracts, meaning that there are guarantees built into it, versus when you're just throwing your money directly in the market, where then you're subject to whatever happens. In these cases, the company actually gives you certain minimums and guarantees that they promise you, and that they go by those things.
And then the Roth IRAs.
So in terms of IRA and Roth, all that is an individual retirement account. The main difference is that there are limitations, right? But the Roth IRA, the main benefit there is that if you do not touch your money before you're 59 and a half, it becomes you're able to then access that money tax-free, unlike your 401k, but if you do touch that money, it goes back and behaves similar to those 401ks where it's subject to the same taxes. But, I mean, this is trying to make it as short and concise as possible. But, again, these are questions that we would like to sit down one-on-one and give you a better, more in-depth based on your strategy.
Okay, traditionals versus tax benefits. Is that even something?
Well, those are the key things, right? In terms of the tax benefits. The biggest tax benefit is that if you don't touch your money until 59 and a half, you're able to access that money and avoid the taxes on those things.
Okay, and then the last one is the last caller's question where people could not hear you, which is, how do I invest $1,000 if I have $1,000 or $2,000 sitting right now?
Okay,
what's the best way of investing it or making use of it?
Well, one of the things that I said is that will always be determined by the time frame in which that money is needed and what is the investment goal, right? Okay. But in terms of if I was to throw out, I think the example I gave at that time was $1,000 or $2,000. When you go into the stock market, with $1,000 or $2,000, there's really not a whole lot that you can buy or a whole lot of different companies you can invest in. When you look at companies that are trading almost at $2,000 per share or $200 or $50 per share, there's not a whole lot. So when you have $1,000 to $2,000, a great area, like I said, is what we're doing at the Academy, where we're teaching people how to trade in the foreign exchange market. With $1,000 to $2,000, that's big money when you come to the foreign exchange market, where you can grow. So we can talk more about those. But if you're looking to invest in the traditional stocks, I threw out that right now there's opportunities in the full-blown legalization of the marijuana industry, where one can now get in at what is known as penny stocks, and be able to maximize that $1,000 or $2,000 in anticipation of a full-blown legalization, and then be able to profit off of that.
Okay, so Haga Yabwa Ousu just joined us. Mansa Labi is also here. Mansa Labi, big up to you. Jocelyn Akofa Amenyo, big up, big up, big up. And then Rachel Leo is also watching us. Mausi MFR, thanks for joining. Johnny Woods is, as usual, here with us. Dominic Merhead, Daniela Walters, all listening. And then Sierra Miller says, Sierra Miller is also here. Big up to you, Sierra. And Rachel made a comment. She says, loan for a personal event is truly not a good financial decision. So glad that this is the event planner. So glad that the event planner nailed that point. All right. 15, what? Okay. It's about 10 minutes to 9 p.m. You are still listening to the Progressive Mind Show with your host, Alinko, on WGHC 98.3 FM, the first and the only African radio station here in the Midwest. We have the intent of bringing this to you week in, week out, and also having events that unites and promotes peace and positivity in our society. So we're encouraging the entire society and the community to visit our website, wghcfm.org, and make the contribution towards. I said earlier, we're about 30,000 Ghanaians alone in the city of Chicago. If we get $1 from everybody, we will do very, very well. A few announcements here before we try to wrap up the show. Next, after this one, is the Igbo show called Straight Talk. Straight Talk is a deep political talk show which covers political issues from Africa, Europe, America, and all over. This is three wise, intelligent men who are very, very in depth with when it comes to political knowledge and other matters. You don't want to miss this one right after this show. On the 20th of October, the GPNA, Ghana Professionals of North America, they are organizing their Gala Awards. I think it's the first one of its kind. This Gala Awards is themed Achieving Financial Freedom, Benchmark for 21st Century Leadership. As the Saturday of October, and we have our own DJ Odikro and DJ Bonsu are going to be there to provide entertainment for us. Wanted to provide you with more information, but I just lost that. But yeah, you will want to contact the GPNA website. Just go on the GPNA website. There's more information regarding this event. You want to? I definitely can guarantee you that this is an event you don't want to miss. Very, very important, significant folks in the community. The Secretary of State is going to be there. Dorothy Brown and other very important dignitaries in our society are going to be present to help this occasion. Deep Page says, thank you, Yolanda, Belinda, Kenny, and Anthony. You guys rock. Santino says, I don't know what Santino is laughing at, but 5 minutes, 1 minute each. How can people get in touch with you and how can people reach you? We'll start from Yolanda. How can people reach you to give you support or need that you may require?
You could reach me on my Facebook page. I'm on Facebook, and you can contact me through there. Okay. Have a blessed day.
What's the ID Facebook name?
Oh, my name is Yolanda Piper. Okay. You will see my picture there. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Folks, if you're not watching on Facebook, they don't know your face. So just assume that she's the one. Okay.
So far, just one.
She's one, yeah. She's a pretty young lady, okay? And she's the only one there, so...
Just one Yolanda Piper.
Okay, Belinda.
Alrighty, so you can reach us either by phone, which is 630-335-2462. Again, it's 630-335-2462. Or you can... access our website, www.belindatimpoweddings.com. We're also on Instagram and Facebook. Please follow us at Belinda Timpo Weddings.
Okay. Kenny, how can people reach you, and what else would you like us to know about Metro Right before you leave the show?
Actually, what I want the public to know, I really urge them to contact us so that we can show them the financial projection for 5 years and the others document which show that our company is worth to be invested. So we ask the public to come and see us so that we can invest, so that we can grow our company, not only here in the United States, also back home, because our technology is able to work back home, because we don't need much internet to use in Africa. So if you want to reach us, you can go to www.metroride.com. That is RYDE. It's Metroride, RYD.com, or you can just contact me through LinkedIn, or you can just call to 773-554-0932. If you want to write a check right now, you can also contact Belinda. Belinda will contact me.
Okay. We'll have 30 seconds so you can give us the last words. But before I go to Tony for so that you can tell us how we can reach Tony, I was trying to get information for the GPNA Gala Awards. As I stated, the theme is achieving financial freedom through the right connections, and also the benchmark for 21st century leadership. The venue is at Marriott Midway Hotel Center, 6520 South Cicero Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60638. Music, as I said, Deodikro and DJ Bones will be helping us with that. MC will be Eke Ajuman. I'll be supporting this event. It's on the 20th of October. Some of the sponsors are Sankofa FM, and then I think this is Live. Live is by Felicia, right? Felicia. WGAC, of course, we are definitely behind GPNA and their great works they are doing. Leadership, their leader. I mean, I love their leadership. Leadership team head by David and Kwame Ziga. Love this gentleman. David, you're doing a great work for the community. God bless you and your team. Reason, Victoria Timpo, Belinda. Did I say Victoria Timpo? Victoria? Yeah, Victoria Timpo. And then who else? Sarah. All the folks that are helping with the GPNA, making sure that things work. There's one other lady, Ablanvi. I don't know if I'm getting the name right. Thank you all for doing a great job for the community, and we hope that this event becomes a great success. Invite someone, okay? I think the gate fee is what, $50. Okay, $50. Invite someone and help make this event a wonderful one. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll start from the lady again. Your closing remarks to our discussions or dialogue this evening. Closing remarks, 30 seconds.
Just trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, and acknowledge Him in all your ways, and He shall direct your path.
Wow. This is the best one so far, ever. Belinda.
Okay, I would say that, be very realistic on what your means are. Do not try to, engage in something that you cannot afford. Mm-hmm. So be very realistic, be very budget conscious when it comes to wedding planning. And if you feel, you need professional assistance, definitely seek one. Or you can also, consult us, Belinda Timpo Weddings and Events.
Okay. Did you give us your number already?
I did.
Okay. And your social media?
Yes.
Okay.
So Instagram, Facebook is at Belinda Timpo Weddings. You can reach us by phone at 630. Where's the other?
Okay.
630-335-2462. Again, it's 630-335-2462.
Okay. We have 1 minute, 2 minutes. I'll give you 1 minute out of that. Somebody asked a salient question, so I'd like you to answer that and then give us your closing remarks. Johnny Wood says, please touch on no-fee investments. Those hidden fees. There's always a hidden fee with this fee charged by most investment companies. So he wants you to explain that, and then your closing remarks. Please, if you can just do this within 1 minute for me.
Well, when he talks about hidden fees, I think that is common with any investment, with money managers. That is their way of earning a living. And so in that case, there are fees in terms of any other investment that you do. But one just needs to be able to understand the fees involved versus the return that you're getting. To me, any investment, the biggest question is what is my return on investment? And if your return on investment exceeds, what you've put in, and it meets your goal, then you should go for it. But always make sure that you're working with a trustworthy financial professional who always have your best interests at heart. So, again, we can be reached at 309-530-4004. I can also be contacted through Facebook at Ask Anthony, which is ASK Anthony, or through Instagram also at I Teach Forex. You can reach me there in all those different platforms.
Okay. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your contribution. We have learned a lot, we have heard a lot, and we have been informed. We also have been informed by the callers who chimed in, folks on Facebook. We so much are appreciative of your contribution and your involvement and your connection. This is the energy that we are striving to build in our communities so that together we can build our own. We thank you so much. This show was brought to you partly by Chateau Hair Products. If your hair is growing bald for some reason, or if you have dreadlocks and it's not looking good, it's breaking, or you have issues with it, if you want to go natural, Chateau Hair Products. They are all over. They are in Whole Foods. If you want to get to Chateau personally, you can reach Progressive Minds, info.progressiveminds@gmail.com. info.progressiveminds@gmail.com. My friend Selassie, my own brother Selassie, just joined us. I saw you a little bit late. Ajua Ofori, you are also here. Okay, God bless you for listening to us. We'll meet again next week, Tuesday, 7 to 9 p.m. Remember, to whom much is given, much is required, and you have been listening to Alinko on the Progressive Mind Show at WGHC. See you. Bye-bye.
KK Odeluga,
Mazi Ejikeme Obasi,
na Mazi Oke Okachuku. This is Straight Talk Radio, the world as we see.
Coming to you from WGH